here today to have a conversation with you about this very important issue of tolling of Interstate 95. I asked my staff when we were driving in this morning whether I was to do the talking today, do the listening today, and they told me both. And so I guess I'm just going to start by just rambling for a few minutes and just kind of, just give you where I am on this issue and to let you know that I am wide awake and fully aware of this issue and I'm prepared to join with you in the fight. I said that to you last time, but I've really rolled up my sleeves and gotten deeper into it since we last met, and I understand it even more now because I've had some very high-level conversations with some people who really matter. As background, I just need to share with you that we are facing, and this will not surprise anyone in this room, but we are facing significant economic challenges in this country. You've had economic challenges in this county for many years. I know that because I've been coming in and out of Halifax County all of my life. Even as a child, I spent a lot of time in Enfield where I had family. But you've had challenges here for years, and now that we've been involved in a very difficult recession, it's almost a depression. We're beginning to climb out of this recession. We've got some very encouraging numbers this morning that we're continuing to experience positive job growth. But the fact remains that we have great challenges in this country. The unemployment rate is unacceptably high. The underemployment rate is unacceptably high. And people don't have the disposable income that they need and deserve. And so we're vitally concerned about that. Your federal government is underwater. And that doesn't surprise anyone because you see it on television every day and you read about it. And your companies, Capstone and the rest of you who are involved in small business and medium-sized businesses, you know that we have challenges. Let me see if I can crystallize and define what I think the challenges are, the fiscal challenges are of the federal government. We're spending, as a government, $3.6 trillion every year. That's our obligation. That's what we have committed to the American people that we're going to spend. $3.6 trillion. We use that $3.6 trillion to do good things, to do very good things. Is there waste in that budget? Probably so. And we're looking for it, and we're going to do all we can to cut it out. Is there duplication? Yes. We're going to try to find that and eliminate it. Is there fraud? And Will knows that certainly there's fraud in the federal system, and we do all we can to find it. But the fact is that most of the money that we spend at the federal level is for good programs. It's for Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and the military and Homeland Security. And then on the discretionary side, we support community health centers and low-income heating assistance and Pell Grants for kids who go to college and food stamps for low-income families. We don't call it food stamps anymore, it's a SNAP program for low-income families. And we innovated, we engage in research and development, and we have food safety programs, and there are hundreds of things, good things that we do as a country. But it costs $3.6 trillion. We only take in $2.3 trillion in revenue. And I sat here for hours and tried to talk to you about the federal government. The basic point is that we have a huge deficit, and it's greater than $1 trillion. The American people know it, we know it, and we've got to fix it. The challenge is, how do we fix this problem? We need money for interstate highways. The revenue from the gasoline tax is down, and there are reasons that contribute to that, but revenue is down. So we've got to get the economy back on solid ground. The government does not have a blank checkbook to do the great things that we want to do, including interstate highways. And so people are beginning now to try to get creative and to think outside of the box and try to find ways to supplement federal funding. And so somebody came up with this bright idea some years ago that, well, what we can do is to create a pilot program and we can get out here and we can implement tolls on existing interstate highways. I don't know where this thing started, but I suppose it started out of frustration that we don't have the revenue to maintain the interstate highway system. Probably had good intentions when it first started. But the fact is that if we're going to toll existing interstate highways, then it needs to be done logically and strategically. It doesn't need to be done in a way that will result in a tax against the people who are most affected by that interstate highway. And so when this plan was rolled out, Virginia, North Carolina, Missouri, those three pilots, North Carolina and Virginia both selected Interstate 95. And so what does that mean? That means that for a traveler coming from, 182 up here, 182 all the way down to exit 1, somebody who traverses the whole state, $19. I don't know what it's going to cost in Virginia, perhaps you all know, but that's going to probably be another $15. So you're talking about more than $30 for a Maryland resident to go down to Disney and to take the kids for a week, and then $30 to come back through these two states. That's a burden. That's a burden on interstate commerce. It's a burden on hardworking American families. But the most significant impact is the people who live and work and shop and worship in this region. It's going to be a huge, huge tax on the people who live in this region. And I just think about the number of people that I know, and you live here, I just think about the number of people that I know who work in Rocky Mountain, who live in Roanoke Rapids and Weldon, Littleton, all around. I mean, for them to get in a car and drive to Rocky Mountain, spend $4 to go to work, get back in the car in the evening, spend another $4 coming back to Roanoke Rapids, that's $8 a day. 5 days a week, do the math, $40 a week, do the math, $160 a month, do the math, $2,000 a year. That's added to a family's budget. Not to mention the fact that if they want to go back on Saturday to Tarrytown or Golden East and do a little shopping, or heaven forbid, if they go to church in Rocky Mount, it gets to be a real burden on that family. And so some may argue, well, they don't have to use interstate highway, they can cut off and go North Carolina 4 or 301. Well, that doesn't make sense either, because then the state has got to maintain those highways. And so we've got to stop and think this through and to make a better decision. So there's been a lot of question surrounding whether or not I'm supporting Congresswoman Elmer's bill, and I said to you privately, and I'll say to you publicly again, yes, I'm willing to sign on, and I am signing on to that bill. But I want to explain a little something to you. Now, I want to do it very diplomatically and very appropriately, so that I can really give you, what it's like in Washington. I want results. I just don't want to make you feel good. At the end of the day, I want results. We went through that with OLF, when outlying landing field. When I first got elected to Congress, there was a great opposition, great groundswell of opposition to OLF. And yes, I signed up, for OLF, but I quickly found out that if I really wanted to stop the OLF, the landing field from getting it in my district, that I had to do some real hard work, not just sign on to a bill and do a press release and say I did it. That's some congressmen do that, not in North Carolina, but some congressmen have been known to do that, just to sign on to a bill and issue a press release and go on to something else. I want results here. And so yes, I'm going to sign on to the bill, but I have engaged in some conversations with some people who really matter. I may write down the date and the time that I talked to them. I don't have that. But I have talked, first of all, to Secretary G.K. North Carolina DOT. I've known Gene for many years. We're personal friends. Gene tells me that they have provisional approval to go ahead with the project to develop an economic impact study, and that they're engaged in preparing an economic